Hey everyone, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Monday, February 15th. First off, I have this meme up in front of me here. It is George Carlin and one of the funniest bits I have seen regarding the elites and their big club, calling it's a big club and you ain't in it. And I thought that was appropriate because we had some news come out here just yesterday, actually late last night. It's funny that they tend to release these articles late on Sunday nights. We all saw a price dip take place in Bitcoin and other currencies, mainly the altcoins. It went ahead and said that the US government won't allow corporates to keep replacing dollars with Bitcoin, warns investment advisor. It says Dan Nathan, the founder of Risk Reversal Advisors, says that the US government will not keep allowing corporations like Elon Musk's Tesla to replace dollars with Bitcoin. They won't let the dollar fall away from being the reserve currency for the world, which could happen if corporations keep replacing dollars in their balance sheets with Bitcoin. And so this news combined with this Jed McCaleb news talking about McCaleb selling $22 million worth of XRP. This all came out literally within hours of each other. And this is from Bitcoin.com. And when I talk about it being a big club, you ain't in it. The gentleman who owns Bitcoin.com or was the CEO of Bitcoin.com was Roger Ver. And Roger Ver is a huge Bitcoin evangelist. He actually has been one of the biggest proponents of Bitcoin since way back when. I know that he was one of the first guys in the space to start handing out Bitcoins, but he actually controls this website, Bitcoin.com. And so they floated out these articles, and then we went ahead and saw the price take a little bit of a correction yesterday. We can go ahead and see here. It wasn't even that bad, but it did drop. Let's see, how much did it drop yesterday? It dropped about 8% in Bitcoin, but we saw some of these other coins fall pretty substantially. Let's go ahead. We'll check out Zcash here. Zcash, we'll go to the 4 hour here and get a little bit better of an idea here. But we saw Zcash come down basically, looking at a 35% correction, which is healthy in these markets. That's why I always say it's good to pull profit. But, you go ahead and you see Roger Ver's website out here posting this news. And then you have the Jed McCaleb news, which followed. And then we all know where Jed McCaleb was. Jed McCaleb used to be in Mt. Gox and then used to be at Stellar Lumen. I'm sorry, used to be at XRP, Ripple, and then he moved over to Stellar Lumens. And so these guys are essentially moving the markets when they flood out these articles, knowing that they're going to be shorting the top and then manipulating the retail traders. Because think about how many people went in and saw all the Visa, MasterCard, Tesla, Apple news that all got released in the same week. We had Snoop Dogg coming out about Bitcoin. We had Jay-Z saying he was starting a Bitcoin trust. Super, super crazy hype cycle the last week. And then what happens, you basically just demolished everybody's margin longs who were getting in on that news in that retrace, not to mention all the people that were on margin on the altcoins. Then we basically wiped all of those people out. And what I think will happen is we will continue on here. But I thought it was very interesting because you have, like I said, Roger Ver, Bitcoin.com, Jed McCaleb, he was already involved in all these projects. They're both billionaires. And then we have the CoinDesk, which is a media outlet and a operating subsidiary of Digital Currency Group, which is owned by Barry Silbert, another billionaire. And so they're controlling the media narrative on CoinDesk, on Bitcoin.com, and essentially manipulating the price to do exactly what it is that they want. And so we have Grayscale Investments here. They were started by the Digital Currency Group. We know that Grayscale Investments, I think they're up. Last news I saw was like $24 billion asset under management. I think it's actually even more than that right now, so don't quote me on that. But we go to Barry Silbert's LinkedIn here. We can see a little bit of information about him. He's one of the biggest guys in the space here. And so with his companies being involved in CoinDesk and then Roger Ver being involved in Bitcoin.com, it's very easy for them to manipulate the price. You got to think about that. So it says the Bitcoin rally falters just short of 50 grand as investors take profit, and that's exactly what took place. These guys were taking profit that whole week essentially that all this big mainstream news was coming out. They were able to short the top and then buy back in their positions, and now it wouldn't be surprise me if Bitcoin ends up breaking 50 grand in the next week or so. So that remains to be seen. But if you guys did follow what we were saying in the last couple of videos, you would have known that we were talking about Zcash because it had 6,000% to go until it reached its all-time high, and it's one of the most undervalued high cap coins. And so we made that suggestion right around $90, and you can go ahead and watch these previous videos where we talked about getting into Zcash because it had so much longer to go. And guess what? from February 7th, so about a week ago up until now, you'd be up 100% on your money. Another one that we talked about was Dash, also supremely undervalued. I think it had about 12 or 1800% to go until it reached its all-time high. And when we talked about it back, about a week ago or so, that was trading at $113, and now you're up at 274. So you more than doubled your money in Dash. And so, like we said, we took some of our profits from Telcoin. We didn't pull out completely of our positions, but we did maneuver some of that cash into these lower suppressed assets. And look what happened. We ended up making over 100% on our money just because we were using very simple tools that you can find on Coin Paprika. As mentioned, we're not chart guys. We don't go do crazy Fibonacci retracements and all that stuff. Well, all that stuff is valid, I'm sure, and there's plenty of guys in the space that know how to do it really well. It's not really where we find our niche here. Our niche is basically just finding suppressed assets that are in a huge accumulation range, and we did find some more of those this past weekend, which we also invested into. And so we're very excited. We think altcoins still have a large way to go. So what else do I have here? So the digital currency group, just some more information on that. You guys can go ahead and check that out for yourself. And let's go ahead and we'll move on to another one that I wanted to bring it to your attention. If you guys don't know, Poloniex, the exchange, that was acquired by Circle. And Circle has also been working with Goldman Sachs. And so if we go and check out Circle here, the Circle company has received over $135 million in venture capital from 4 rounds of investment from 2013 to 2016, including $50 million led by Goldman Sachs. So now you have Goldman Sachs in the game owning Circle, which owns Poloniex, which means they have basically access to the back end of all the orders on the exchanges, and they can see where everybody sits in their margin positions and exactly what people are buying and selling. And they're not going to be going the majority route. They're going to be going the minority route, where, you want to, when you're trading, essentially, you want to be on the side of the minority, not the side of the majority, because the majority is going to get wiped out, right? So they have access to all this information. It's very important that you guys know and do your research, as I always mention in these videos, and go and find out exactly what's going on. Bitcoin.com, owned by Roger Ver. You have Jed McCaleb, who was in 3 different companies, 3 of the biggest companies, Mt. Gox, Stellar, and Ripple. And then you also have the CoinDesk, which is owned by the Digital Currency Group, which is a part of Grayscale Investments. All of this stuff is tied together, And Mike Novogratz, another huge proponent of Bitcoin. He's also a billionaire in the Bitcoin space, and he used to work, guess where? Where did he used to work? He used to work over at Goldman Sachs, and you guys can go ahead and check that out. So all these guys are tied together. Go ahead, make sure you guys do your research, and don't be so quick to panic when you see these quick corrections that took place in Bitcoin and some of these other ones. I mean, if you were up at 190 and then you went back and you saw that you're at 125 on Zcash, a lot of people were selling right here. They probably got scared. They thought it was going to drop even further. And guess what? The whales are there to buy up your fear. So it's always a good idea to take profits, maybe have some cash sitting on the sidelines. Otherwise, don't overtrade. Make sure that you guys have your head on straight, know exactly what you're invested in, know what the good projects are, and you guys can do extremely well for yourself. Just don't get played by these billionaire guys, because they're owning the news sources that are actually pumping this information out. And somebody like Circle and Poloniex and these Goldman Sachs guys, they can see the back ends of the trades in the order books. So be very conscious of that. Be aware. Do your own research. Find the suppressed assets. You guys will definitely be in good shape. And with that being said, we will catch you guys all in the next video.